This is CBC Here and Now.
There's so much waste here and there's no rodents.
At its worst point, if you go out there, you'll throw up.
You ever smell rotten eggs? Well, rotten eggs smells good too.
Rodents knows when something is toxic.
Fermenting fish sauce, long forgotten.
But the smell in St. Mary's lingers.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Debbie Cooper. Well, a small town on the southern Avalon has found itself in a stinky situation. A seafood sauce plant opened in St. Mary's nearly 3 decades ago.
But it later shut its doors with the fermenting fish and salt just left sitting there in containers ever since, leaving a smell that would make your eyes water. Here and Now's Jen White has that story now for CBC Investigates.
When the grandkids come over, I don't want them out into this, I call it a toxic environment. This is what they wear on their faces. We can't let them be breathing this in. We're not sure what we're breathing in here yet.
Juliet Sis Lee lives across the street from a seafood sauce plant that's been rotting away for years.
You can't breathe when it's so pungent, I suppose you'd say, right? There's times I have to leave my home and go out to my sons or daughters because you can't bear the smell here.
So what's it like, say, at its worst point?
At its worst point, if you go out there, you'll throw up. You will throw up.
Back in the 90s, the Atlantic Seafood Sauce Company opened with a lot of fanfare. The owners were hoping to tap into a lucrative North American market for a Vietnamese-style seafood sauce. 4 Vietnamese journalists were even flown in for the unveiling.
You see something new, something product new, nobody know, and even we put an advertise, nobody bothered to look into it.
The plant had 150 containers, filled with male capelin and salt, left to ferment for years, until it turned into a liquid that would be bottled for sale. But 4 years after it opened, the owner said federal regulations were killing the project. In the early 2000s, more trouble. Operations at the plant suspended after issues with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. The owner closed up shop. It's believed he has since left the country. The tanks filled with seafood sauce have been sitting there ever since.
Ooh, this takes our breath here, the smell. Those vats hold 12,500 litres in each vat. Over the past 20 years, the vats are after leaking on the bottom. Now it's running on the floor and it has nowhere to go. 2, 3, 4 inches thick all over the floor, which is making the smell worse here in the community. In the summertime, it's just unbearable.
John Whalen moved back to St. Mary's with his wife Muriel in the 70s. Their house is just up the road from the building.
What does it smell like?
Well, rotten eggs smells good too. I'll take your breath.
When the smell starts, I have to come in, close our windows and our doors and stay in, like a prisoner.
Prisoner in their own homes.
But the Whalens say it's not just the smell. They're worried about their health.
I asked the question, you know, how come they had to wear a suit and everything to go in there, right? And they said, well, it was to protect our people. And I said, our workers. And I said, what about us? What are we? And we got no answer.
The town and the province did try to tackle this before. Back in 2012, Service NL tried to contact the company's owner, but failed to track him down. 3 years ago, a waste management plan was developed, but complaints were made about the contractor, who had dumped 30 tanks into the ocean, and work halted. Nothing has happened at the site since.
It's just so unbelievable.
Ryan says it needs to be dealt with now. The town has found a company that's willing to clean it up, but it will cost more than $700,000.
He said it was one of the worst sites they ever encountered in. What he told me kind of scared me. He said rodents knows when something is toxic, and he said for no rodents to be here, it kind of means there's something toxic.
The town has applied to the province for financial help. They're hoping to hear back next month. But Ryan says even if they get it, St. Mary's would still have to cover 10%. Money he says the small town just doesn't have. Jen White, CBC News, St. Mary's.
And her husband went into the bathroom and he heard the rumbling too, and he looked out and the house was like this.
The sheer weight of all the snow in Happy Valley Goose Bay putting pressures on homes. One man's retirement dream turns to rubble.
A highly anticipated review has been released looking into the deaths of 4 inmates in provincial corrections facilities. The report says no one working in the system is to blame, but it raises troubling questions about our prison system. Here now's Mark Quinn is following this story. Mark, what can you tell us?
Well, Debbie, members of the public who are hoping to find out more about the details of these deaths will be disappointed by this review. There were 31 pages removed from the report, 31 pages that detail what happened to those inmates. Now, we do know that 2 of those inmates died here at Her Majesty's Penitentiary and 2 others died in Clarenville at the women's facility there.
Doug Neary, a father of 2, and Chris Sutton are the inmates who died here in St. John's. Sky Martin and Samantha Piercy were being held at the women's facility in Clarenville. Here's what the report concluded about their deaths.
The review team cannot conclude any action or inaction by correctional staff would have prevented the deaths of the 4 individuals.
Parsons says there were many systemic failures that must be addressed, but could those failures be blamed for the deaths?
We have systemic issues in the system, whether it's perhaps the most glaring one, which is the facility in which we operate.
Her Majesty's Penitentiary must be replaced, a message we've been hearing for decades. Parsons says he does want it replaced, but there's no plan to do that anytime soon. And here's another failure. The review concluded that the system can't adequately address mental health and addiction issues, despite the fact that 87% of provincial inmates have mental health issues, substance abuse issues, or both. The province hopes those problems will be addressed when Health and Community Services takes over the provision of health care in the provincial corrections system.
And today, I can report that we are on target to ensure the transfer of responsibility of health services occurs this year.
Now, I did speak briefly with the mother of one of the women who died last year. She says that she is not satisfied with this report. She's still troubled by what happened to her daughter. Her name is Natasha Martin, and she was the mother of Sky Martin. She says she has hired a lawyer, and she says she will have more to say about this soon. Live in St. John's, I'm Mark Quinn for Here and Now.
And still with this story, CBC News has learned that a mix of federal and provincial land in St. John's is available for a new penitentiary if and when one is built. According to the Department of Transportation and Works, there's enough land near Quidi Vidi Lake to accommodate a new facility. And while no decision has been made, Justice Minister Andrew Parsons says replacing HMP remains a top priority, as you heard in Mark's story. Her Majesty's Penitentiary is the oldest operating correctional facility in the country.
On display at Supreme Court, a dramatic story of an alleged murder and the hunt for the person who was responsible. After yesterday's jury shakeup, Al Potter's murder trial heard its first evidence today. Potter is charged with murdering Dale Porter almost 5 years ago, and today the prosecution laid out its theory. Ariana Kellen is covering the trial, and she joins us live now. So, Ariana, what does the Crown say happened to Dale Porter?
Well, Anthony, the prosecution says that Dale Porter was killed because he made fun of and disrespected the Vikings Motorcycle Club. They say it was planned and deliberate, and that Al Potter himself confessed to the crime during an undercover police sting in Ontario in 2016.
North River, June 2014. Police respond to Dale Porter's home where the father of 2 lay stabbed multiple times in his driveway. He'd later die in hospital. The Crown says Porter got in a cab that night with 2 men and a woman after an evening at a bar in Bay Roberts. One man was allegedly Potter. The second man's name is covered by a publication ban. Prosecutor Sheldon Steeves told the jury that Porter made fun of and disrespected the Vikings Motorcycle Club and even spit on the colors. As a result, he says Porter was stabbed and left to die. How police came to arrest Potter also came to light today. They used agents, civilians who gather information for police. They too were members of the Vikings MC. While in prison on an unrelated matter in Ontario, Potter was approached by one of the police agents. He had a job opportunity for Potter as a debt collector, but first he'd need to meet the boss. Enter an undercover police officer. He told Potter he needed help collecting from 2 brothers who owed a debt and that one needed to die. He even asked Potter to help bury a body, but unbeknownst to him, that body was a dead pig. Potter was later charged with first-degree murder, and the Crown argues that they have a taped confession and DNA evidence to back up that charge. Meanwhile, the jury learned about Dale Porter. His sister testified that he was a father of a 14 and 9-year-old, worked hard as a fisherman and trucker, and was part of a tight-knit family.
Now, there are between 35 and 45 Crown witnesses in this 5-week trial. We did hear from 7 of them today, and more testimony is expected to continue tomorrow. Reporting live in St. John's, I'm Ariana Kellen for Here and Now.
Well, if you were out this morning, you noticed the temperatures for the Burin and Avalon were quite warm today, sitting in the single digits. 6 degrees was your morning high temperatures. Otherwise, along the west coast, sitting in the 1 degree mark up through Labrador, though still holding on to those cooler temperatures. If you haven't been outside yet, those temperatures have significantly dropped down to the minus single digits and will continue to do so as we head through the night tonight. Now, taking a look at the current satellite and radar, you can see not a whole lot happening right now. We are seeing some patchy drizzle and some flurries, and that will continue as we head through the overnight, especially along the west coast. We will start to see things clear out as that cloud cover moves through. And then through the overnight, maybe some more cloud cover as we head towards the morning hours. But it looks quiet through the day on Thursday, but that's not the case as we head into the next couple of days. Certainly on Friday, Environment Canada already has a special weather statement in effect. Even though it's going to be messy for Newfoundland, this is an all-snow event for Labrador. And it could be bad news for homeowners since this year's heavy snowfall has been devastating for at least one man. He's been renovating his home for retirement, but as Jacob Barker reports, the record snowfall of more than 150 centimeters since the 1st of January has caused a major setback.
You've got to look closely if you want to find Randy Anthony's house at the corner of Palliser Crescent and Hunt Street. But it's there, beneath the snow. Neighbors heard the house come down early in the morning on January 25th.
It was about 6:30 in the morning. She said she heard a bunch of rumbling, and she looked out. She didn't see anything at that point, and her husband went into the bathroom, and he heard the rumbling too, and he looked out, and the house was like this.
The house was passed down to the 52-year-old from his parents. Precious family belongings are now buried under all that snow.
Yeah, and everything was in there, like, you know, all the furniture, the huts and cabinets, stuff like that. You know, just stuff you can't replace. Like, even with new stuff, it's all stuff like with memories, you know what I mean?
Anthony lives and works in Toronto. He's put thousands into renovating the house, prepping it for retirement. But now he has to rebuild from the bottom up. Before that, though, he'll see what he can salvage before the spring thaw.
Can't go backwards, got to go forwards now. I'm hoping to get all the material saved that I can and start afresh.
Well, there's been record amounts of snow stacking up here in Happy Valley Goose Bay in the early months of this year. And while that means bad news for people like Randy Anthony, for contractors, it means busy times.
Some roofs we've been on has about 5-6 feet of snow on top of them. Yeah. So there's a lot of weight.
Clearing off roofs is something Jeremy Anderson does on the side to make a few bucks. But this year, he's been flat out.
Usually we just do our own construction buildings and stuff, but we've been on roofs pretty much every night of the week for the last couple weeks.
An important chore that needs to be done for safety's sake.
Well, it's dangerous. Even certain peaks of roofs, the snow could fall off on anybody. And just simple facts for leaks, like I said, sewer pipes or drain pipes, everything like that freezes up, and then you got problems inside your house. And of course, obviously, would collapse.
With the usual snow months of the year yet to come, it's an important job to stay on top of. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Well, an election is just months away in this province, and it might be a close race. The latest political poll by MQO Research puts the Liberals at 44% support. That's down a little, while the Tories are up at 42%, and that's up a bit since the last quarterly poll. The New Democrats are down 4 percentage points to 12% support. Stephen Moore, Vice President of MQO, points out that this is the first time the Tories are above 40% since 2017, and it's possible that their gains may be coming from a weakened NDP. Meanwhile, the number of undecided voters, and it's important to keep this number in mind, according to this poll, 40%, that's steady at 40%. 600 people were polled by phone between January 16th and the 28th, and the margin of error is plus or minus 4 percentage points 19 times out of 20. Look out, Barbados.
Thanks to a big lottery win, Robert and Sharon Reed will soon be winging their way back to the land of sun.
The retired couple from Gander received their $675,000 jackpot prize this morning. Robert Reed had joked about winning the lottery for years, telling his wife Sharon, the money's coming one of these days.
So you can imagine his excitement when she scratched a winning Set for Life ticket on her way to have coffee with friends.
Yep.
They plan to share the money with their daughter, buy an SUV, and return to Barbados, where they vacationed 30 years ago and have always wished they could go back. That's pretty cool.
Lucky them.
The St. John's Farmers Market is adding on new days.
It's going to be opening more often on the weekends. Now, it usually looks like this on Saturdays, but now the second Sunday of the month will have a market like this one as well. It's going to be open from 9 to 4, and it will have a lot of the regular vendors that you see there now.
The market is also going to open on the first Friday of each month, but only at night. It will run from 4:30 until 9 and will focus more on food. There will be live music, more tables, and a cash bar.
And these new time slots, they come after a customer survey, and organizers say if the new markets take off, they might add some more dates as well.
Obviously popular.
No kidding. I like the emphasis on food. The food there is, if you haven't been there, there's some really nice food hidden in the back. You should give it a try.
I like going on a ride with my dad. It's good exercise too.
I'm at the Cross Country Ski Club in Corner Brook, but tonight it's cyclists that are on the trails. I'll tell you about this fat biking craze.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. 5,000 kilometers of groomed trails are waiting to be explored. Embrace winter today.
Can see my lawn again. Won't be long till we're golfing, right?
I know. It certainly feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Today was strange.
It did feel so warm today, and there was melting going on everywhere. Wow.
Everything has changed. What can 12 hours do for you? Well, take a look at the temperatures. That's exactly what it can do for you. Down to -3 for the Avalon and the Burin Peninsula, sitting below 0.2. And we're down to the minus single digits for most of the rest of Newfoundland, and then up through Labrador, still holding on to those temperatures. They're actually going to get colder as we head through the night tonight. But taking a look at the satellite and radar, you can see not a whole lot going on. What we are seeing is just some drizzle, freezing drizzle, and flurry activity, and as I mentioned earlier, that will taper off eventually, especially for the west coast. So the winds will ease as well, going down to about -12 for Corner Brook. Towards the coast, though, these temperatures will be a couple of degrees warmer, most likely. Same for the south coast as well. Marystown should see a low near -10, or rather -9 tonight, and then up through St. Anthony -15. Otherwise, still looking at that potential for some flurries and or freezing drizzle along the northeast coast and the Avalon. Those winds still out of the northwest, so around 30 kilometers per hour. Those winds will ease as we head through the day tomorrow. Up through Labrador, nice quiet night tonight thanks to a big ridge of high pressure, but again, those temperatures are dropping. -30 is your overnight low in Labrador City, feeling closer to -39 with that wind chill, and then similar temperatures heading towards Cartwright, -22, the Straits sitting at -17. So taking a look at the future tracker for tomorrow, not a whole lot happening. We are stuck, or not stuck, we're sitting under a ridge of high pressure for Labrador. Just some cloud cover moving through. Might see a few flurries through the afternoon for Newfoundland, and then a few peaks of sun in the mix as well. Otherwise, that next system starts to make its way in late day for western Labrador. Towards the morning hours, we could see some snow move in. So here's a look at your forecast. For tomorrow, temperatures are going to stay cold again, below 0 for the most part. For the Avalon, looking at that potential for a few flurries, but again, the sun peeking out at times. Those winds will be light as we head towards the afternoon and evening hours. Marystown going down to, or seeing a high near -4 rather, and then up through Bonavista -5. Through parts of central and along the northeast coast, still looking at that potential for a few flurries as well. Temperature generally sitting around -9. That's well below seasonal for this time of year. And then along the west coast as well, we're going to see that potential for a few flurries. -5 for Stephenville. Eventually going to see some clearing through the day. -3 for Port aux Basques. And Burgeo sitting at -5 through the day. Up through Labrador, we start to get into that ridge of high pressure a little bit more, and then especially for the Great Northern Peninsula as well. -13 is your afternoon high, generally sitting in the -teens. Those winds a little bit stronger, so we are going to see a little bit of a wind chill through the day tomorrow, and then that's the same up through Labrador as well. -18 for Lab City, and then winds still about 15 kilometers per hour. So a little bit of a wind chill with that chance of flurries, but not moving in until later on in the afternoon. Now, I mentioned that special weather statement in effect for all of Newfoundland and Labrador. That system will move in Friday. It looks like a messy one with some freezing rain potential, snow, and for Labrador, and those winds continuing. Then we get even colder and into a more northwesterly flow, which means snow squalls are on the horizon. I'll have all those details coming up. Deb?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, cyclists in Corner Brook are now allowed to bike on the cross-country ski trails. Fat bike enthusiasts have been pushing their tires through the snow one night a week all this winter.
Yeah, and when Debbie says fat bike enthusiast, the fat is about the bike, not the cyclists. It's a new thing for the ski club, and here now is Colleen Connors tried to keep up with those cyclists out in the trails. Have a look.
It's a nice controlled environment. We have an even surface, it's all groomed. When you're following on snowmobile trails, it can often be loose on the top, hard to get traction. You're worried about snowmobiles coming around the corner, you're up here, it's a safe, controlled environment, surface is reliable. It's a lot of fun. So where this is something new for the Blow Me Down trails, it's a very controlled ride. Everyone starts at the same time, everyone sticks together, everyone finishes at the same time. It's a planned route. We try to stay on trails that are well groomed, so we're not doing any damage for cross-country skiers. And we sort of pick our times and adjust our tire pressure, so we're not, hopefully not doing too much damage to the trails.
Well, I like going on a ride with my dad. It's good exercise too, and I think I like it because the most with my dad.
Oh, you guys get to do it together.
Definitely.
What do you like about being up here on the trails?
Well, same as Reed said, it's a group ride, and so I get to spend time with him, and we both get to do something we both are interested in. And the trails are great. Like, the ideal conditions are groomed trails. So if we can get access to these trails, this is ideal.
Well, Blow Me Down, we're in the business of people having fun. So the thing about that is if there's a unique opportunity that's available, we're interested. But it's a little bit of exploration on behalf of the fat bikers, because it's a relatively new sport to Western Newfoundland and to Newfoundland in general, and certainly to us here at Blow Me Down. So the fat bikers approached us, and up until we had to find some loopholes to jump through, insurance being one of them, and we managed to overcome that. And so now what we're doing is a trial for this year.
If it becomes a full-time thing where you can come and ski and bike, I guess it's great, because I used to ski, so I can come and ski for a bit, bike for a bit, and I guess it gets the skiers to get introduced to the fat bikes, and the fat bikers maybe get introduced to skiing, so it's kind of, I guess, a win-win for everybody.
Doesn't that look fun?
That does look fun. Conditions are gorgeous. You're a cyclist. Have you ever tried that?
Tried it experimentally once, actually.
It's hard, isn't it?
With Gary Moore, who used to work for us. He's a huge cyclist, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a small guy, but he's a big cyclist. But he was really into fat biking. And it's a lot of work. You can see you're not going that fast. But when you get the hills, and Blow Me Down is so fantastic. What a great place to do that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go, Brennan.
Coming up on Here and Now, an interesting story here in Pippi Park. There's equipment for some people who can't get around. That story next. Welcome back to Here and Now in Pippi Park now. I'm going to take advantage of the fresh air and breathe it in. I'm here with Julie Brocklehurst and her son Brennan. So Julie, tell me what you're doing here and what's going on.
So we're out with Brennan today in, he's using the Hippocamp, which we've rented from the City of St. John's.
Okay, and what is a Hippocamp?
The Hippocamp is an all-terrain wheelchair. So it allows us access to trails and I guess areas of our community that we wouldn't be able to access with a typical wheelchair.
Right, and now you don't own this, you managed to...
No, unfortunately, but we are borrowing it from the city. They have a wonderful program where you can rent adaptive equipment. So there's a number of different pieces. We're using the Hippocamp for the first time, and we've just been having a blast with it.
Okay,
yeah.
And why is it important for you to get Brennan out here in the fresh air?
I mean, I think, you know, it's important for anyone to be able to experience the outdoors, and we're very active as a family, and we try to get out as often as we can. As you can imagine, in the winter it can be challenging with a wheelchair, but we're just thrilled to be able to use this equipment.
Right, I mean if there's snow, and of course we've had a little bit of roughness with the rain in the St. John's area and all that, you can switch this out so that there's doesn't have to be wheels, right?
No, so there's a couple of different wheel attachments, and there's actually a ski kit that comes with this one, so you can put skis underneath there. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Right, and I guess if I ask you one more question, so a program like this, because I'm assuming this machine, this kind of equipment is not inexpensive.
No, it would be very expensive.
Right.
Yeah, so the city allows us to, or allows anyone to rent it for free. There's no cost to rent it, and yeah, I mean, it certainly would be very expensive to buy this type of equipment, and I mean, we would love to have one at some point, but even to be able to try it, you know, before you make a major purchase like that.
Well, I had no idea this program even existed.
No, I think a lot of people don't.
Right, which is one of the reasons we're here. Now, Jamie Korab, of course, City Councillor, he's one of the people who helps with all this. I'll get you to come over here where the equipment is, Jamie. So how did this program come into being?
So basically, I mean, we had a call from the public, people with mobility barriers, they wanted more access. So in 2013, we decided to start acquiring some equipment. So we have 2 sledges here, we have the snow coach, and we also have the sit ski.
Right, this reminds me of sledge hockey a little bit.
Yeah, so the 2 sledges basically is like sledge hockey, so they're for skating. Then you have the snow coach, so you can be pushed or pulled. So this is again for the trails. And in this one here, if you look at the sit ski, that's one that you can have if you have a little more upper body strength. If you want to build upper body strength to get out on the slopes and on the trails here.
All right, so there's different kinds of equipment depending on a person's disability.
Exactly, yeah. So with this adaptive equipment, everyone should have the ability to ski, slide, skate, or go out hiking. So this gives them the opportunity if you have a physical barrier and also a financial barrier. As just said, it's free. And you can book it up. We ask you to do a week in advance if you can.
Okay.
You get it for 2 weeks, absolutely free. And last year I think we had 202 days out of 365.
Where gear was actually taken out.
So we're hoping with this today we can get that to 365, and we're always looking to purchase new equipment and get more as needed.
Okay, just one last thing. For somebody watching thinking, I had no idea that this program existed, what do they need to know? How do they actually make that booking?
So there's 2 ways you can contact the city. You can do it by email, it's inclusion@stjohns.ca, or you can give us a call at 576-6972. We ask that you do it a week in advance, but if it's available, you're certainly more than welcome to take them out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
We're in a situation where 4 people have died, and the situation is quite dire.
The recommendations in many instances were exceedingly basic, to the point that you would think they would be common sense.
The report into the deaths of 4 people in Newfoundland jails found nothing staff could have done to prevent their deaths. But it did have a few choice words about the prison system itself. We'll have a reaction from 2 prominent lawyers next.
They once called it the capital of Labrador, Battle Harbour, the former fishing premises that's found a future in tourism. Sunday at noon and Monday at 7.
As we reported earlier, many people have been anxiously waiting to see the deaths in custody review, including my studio guests. Lawyer Lynn Moore and mental health advocate and lawyer as well, Mark Grushi. Thank you very much for coming in. I want to start off with an overall reaction that you had when you first looked at this review. Lynn?
Well, I was surprised by how in-depth the review was and how it addressed systemic issues. I was concerned when I saw the terms of reference that it would just be were the procedures involved for this particular night were they followed, but the review was much more, was much broader than that, and I think that was a good thing and a necessary thing. But I also think that there's nothing really new there in terms of what has been recommended, and that we have heard it before, and that we have seen governments commission these reports before and accept the reports and then do nothing. And now we're in a situation where 4 people have died, and the situation is quite dire. And I'm really hoping that we're done with the reports now and we can see some action.
So Mark, do you share Lynn's point of view that it was more comprehensive than you thought it was going to be?
I expected something like this. I totally understand, though, that the terms of reference issue Lynn raises. What I'll say is that a concern of mine is that the recommendations in many instances were exceedingly basic to the point that you would think they would be common sense. And I think that the people of the province need to be aware of them. Recommendations such as ensuring you keep the video footage if someone dies. Recommendations such as, you know, there should be a focus on preventing drug trafficking. Recommendations such as, you know, you need to assess whether there's mental health resources. They're very basic. And this is one of many reports with recommendations that has come out now over the decades. The time has come for action. The action has to be political. It has to come from the top. And if it doesn't come from the top, we're going to get another report and another recommendation, and these people will have died for nothing.
Let's look at some of the recommendations other than the basic ones that you've highlighted there. The report absolves the staff of any wrongdoing in these deaths. It says the problem is systemic. Just what do you make of that, Lynn?
Well, I can't speak to the specifics because all of that information was redacted in the report about what happened to those 4 individuals. But I can say that the systemic problems are quite apparent to anyone that's paying attention. That, you know, a building which is 159 years old, literally Dickensian, cannot perform the function that you would expect in the 21st century. We have people who are in the special handling unit who are have extreme physical health needs, mental health needs, people who are suicidal, with people who are being punished for their behavior within the institution. And we put people who have mental health issues in that kind of environment, which everybody in the prison system refers to as the whole. And we expect those people to come out and society to be safer. It's nonsensical.
The report also points out 77 to 87% of inmates either have addictions problems or mental health problems, and perhaps both. Is anybody surprised by that, Mark?
No. Firstly, it's very well known and understood in an objective sense that addictions are a criminogenic factor, more so than mental illness itself is. Addictions very often drive the kinds of crimes that result in people being repetitively in contact with the justice system and ultimately incarcerated. Another thing that I would say, though, is that if you enter Her Majesty's Penitentiary with no mental health problems, or frankly an addictions problem, you're probably going to develop one inside of a few weeks to a month. The facility at this point is generating addiction and generating crime and not helping. It's doing the opposite in our society of what it is supposed to do, and it's making us unsafe.
The report again says there's a need for a new HMP,
yes.
But it says in the meantime there should be a mental health unit built at HMP and in Clarenville. Does that discourage you that there is going to be a prison, or is it a positive stopgap at this point? Will it help?
There will be
mental health units.
A mental health unit will definitely help. I mean, people need a place where they can go, which is not a high conflict area, which does not have the lights on 24 hours a day, where they're not in solitary confinement. You know, people need that for sure. And any prison that is going to be built is at least 5 years down the road, assuming that they started breaking ground today. It's going to be a long time before they can get to that position. So immediate steps have to be taken, no question about that.
I detected, Mark, you were discouraged a little bit earlier, saying, come on with it. We need action, action, action.
Yes.
What do you want right now out of this report?
Well, what I want right now out of this report is very bluntly, is I want people in this province to grasp just how disastrous the situation is. I want them to grasp that if we do not immediately focus on how bad this is, and how it has to be changed from the top down, and how it has to be a top drawer issue, we're just going to have another report and more deaths. And I think that's the general sentiment amongst people who are working in the front line. We need to do things now. We cannot ever take our eye off the ball of replacing that facility. That facility is making the province unsafe due to its, as my friend said, Dickensian nature. It's ancient. So the only way that's going to happen is if the people who are sitting in those seats in the House of Assembly are prepared to do the right thing and fix this problem by way of finding and funding this money and dealing with it, or it's just going to continue to be that issue that can get pushed down the road because you can't get a nice tight package of votes. That's why prisons all over North America are falling apart. Ours is a particularly bad example of it. So it requires moral action and comprehensive action by our lawmakers.
And
final comment, Lynn?
By comprehensive, there has to be more mental health and addiction support in the community so that people are not winding up in prison. It's no good to have a shiny new building with a mental health unit if when those people get released, they're back in the exact same circumstance that they were in before they went there and they turn to crime. Most people who suffer from addictions issues have trauma in their background, and the addictions are a means of dealing with that trauma. And if we can't address that, then we can't address the addiction and we can't address the crime behavior. So to make us safer, we need more help in the community and in the prisons.
Lynn Moore, Mark Grushey, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This weather update is brought to you by Beltone, helping the world hear better.
So Ashley's going to start this segment of the weather with a picture.
Okay.
Maybe you've seen it on social media.
Yep, take a look at that photo. Jill Henderson sent us this photo from Churchill Falls, and those are light pillars.
I was going to ask you, because I know they're not the Northern Lights, either that or Intelligent Life has chosen that part of Labrador.
Or is that some football arena somewhere?
That's right.
That's what everybody was saying, but actually it is this here. So it's an optical illusion that isn't actually there at all.
Is there a test on this at the end?
There can be if you'd like.
Sorry.
That's okay. But what happens is we've got your light source, which in this case is likely a street lamp, and then your eye. There's ice crystals in the atmosphere that lay flat, that reflects off of that, and then creates that light pillar, which I kind of showed here. So it's an interesting atmospheric phenomena.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool, hey? But otherwise, as far as the forecast goes, Friday looks pretty messy. These cooler temperatures are going to stick around up through Labrador. We'll start to see that snow move into the afternoon hours, and then it becomes messy into mid-afternoon for most of Newfoundland. We'll start to see that snow move in the southwestern portions of Newfoundland by the time the afternoon rolls around. Quick changeover by supper time. And then we'll continue to see that snow move a little bit further north. With this, we're looking at an ice pellets, freezing rain, and then over to rain. And then in behind that, we get into a northwesterly flow, which means we're back into that potential for some snow squalls. So here's a look at the forecast for Friday. Lab City, temperatures are actually climbing. So back up to the minus teens, minus 13 for Lab City with that snow, minus 12 for Happy Valley Goose Bay. And then here's those temperatures for Friday for Newfoundland. Now, sitting above zero by the time the afternoon rolls around for Corner Brook, Grand Falls, Windsor sitting around zero, St. John's minus 2. Those temperatures will climb as that low continues to track further east by the time the evening and Saturday rolls around, when everything will change over to those temperatures. So looking ahead, we can see that warm air moving in Friday overnight. That's why we're going to see those temperatures climbing. It's going to stay snowy up through Labrador. In behind that, those winds significantly pick up. So we're looking at blowing snow, especially through Saturday and even into Sunday. It looks like the system doesn't really move much. But as that colder air moves in, as we saw earlier this week and the weekend, we're seeing that snow squalls developing again. So most likely along the west coast, south coast, Southern Avalon could see it as well through the day on Sunday. And then again, going to stay with these temperatures cool and the strong winds, so the blowing snow will likely continue right through Sunday for most of Newfoundland and Labrador, and even into Monday it looks like. So taking a look at the next 5 days, a few peaks of sun possible tomorrow, sitting around -3. There's that warm up on Saturday, rain and windy conditions. Those winds will stay strong right through Sunday, as I mentioned, and then a big dip in those temperatures back down to the minus single digits. Now for central Newfoundland, same thing, likely sitting in the mid single digits, rain changing over to snow as those temperatures drop late Saturday. And then Monday, the sunshine returns, but chilly at -10. Western Newfoundland, same thing, but we're looking at that potential for squalls right through Sunday, and then still looking at cloudy conditions on Monday and flurries and -12. Up through eastern Labrador, sunshine tomorrow, and then that snow moves in, stays windy, as I mentioned, right through Sunday, and then Monday, -16, it looks like is your afternoon high, and then same thing for western Labrador. Essentially the same forecast, so -21, -23 by the time Sunday rolls around. We get into those cooler temperatures. But so for those of you celebrating the Lunar New Year, it looks snowy through the weekend. There you go.
欢迎光临。徐小姐，这个星期为什么这么重要？
谢谢。新年快乐！因为今年对我们比较重要，是因为今年是春节的开始，然后今年是刚好是猪年，所以这个礼拜大家都忙着跟家人团聚啊，或者是跟朋友还有公司的各位一起庆祝，所以是非常重要的一个礼拜。
有别有问题。第二个呢，你是什么时候成熟的？
我也是猪年出生的，所以今年是我的年，所以今年算是，假如传统的来说的话是犯太岁，不过其实因为猪年对大家的运气都很不错，所以其实是一个运势非常好的一年。
你是猪？
对，
我是龙。今年我们的运气怎么样？
我们两个的运气其实是你比较好，你今年的运势非常的强，然后我是今年好像是要稍微就是比较低调一点点，因为今年我犯太岁。
第二个的问题，我觉得很多加拿大人他们都知道中国人很喜欢吃饭。
对，
这个星期你和的家人你要吃什么？
今年的除夕夜还有那个新年的菜的话，通常就是大鱼大肉啊，就满汉全餐这样子。所以就是有鸡有肉，然后通常会有鱼啊，有面线那些的。所以面线代表的就是长寿百命。
好的。
然后那个鱼的话，就是代表有剩余的，所以就是今年接下来的那个钱财那些会继续的滚滚来。
听说有很多人这个星期他们很喜欢吃鱼，因为鱼有的运气有一个关系。
对鱼的那个意义的话，就是说今年的金钱会有剩下的，所以就是没有把全部花光，来年还有剩余的那个运势。
还有一个问题。这个东西我知道有很多小孩他们很喜欢这个是什么？
这个是红包，所以一般你是给小孩子做你有压岁钱，代表那个孩子的健康跟运气。然后
钱，
对，就是钱。不过有的时候呢，假如是公司的话，也可以发给员工当红利，类似 bonus 的东西，或者是也可以给自己的长辈，算是回敬他们的一份孝心这样子。
谢谢你，徐小姐。
不会，谢谢。
没有钱。
下次。
新年快乐。
新年快乐。
Always looking for the money.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was interesting because I haven't had a chance. The manner was kind of rusty, but it made me think of a story that I think you might get a kick out of. When I first came here, we did the open house, CBC open house.
Yeah.
That's something you have to look forward to because everybody comes.
Yeah.
And they put me at the front door of the CBC, and so there was a Chinese woman coming with 2 kids. So I said to her, ni hao, 我叫安东尼, and I'll welcome all that kind of stuff. And everyone's like, whoa. Then about 10 people later, there's a Chinese guy with glasses on, and I did the same thing with him. I said, ni hao, guani, guani, washir. And he looks at me and said, hey, but I understand a word what you're saying. I'm from Bay Roberts. So never make assumptions. But right. it was very, very funny.
And that's the first on Here and Now.
Oh, good. I hope the last. It's really hard.
That was amazing.
Got to get things going again. All right. In other news, to Washington now, the U.S. president emphasized unity in his second State of the Union address. Donald Trump called for an end to the politics of revenge. But in last night's speech, he also struck a more partisan tone on subjects that have been flashpoints during his time in office, namely the border wall and investigations into possible links between his presidential campaign and Russia. The CBC's Paul Hunter has more.
The agenda I will lay out this evening is not a Republican agenda or a Democrat agenda. It's the agenda of the American people.
This was a different kind of Donald Trump than the U.S. and, for that matter, the world has been used to. Put country ahead of party, he said.
We must reject the politics of revenge, resistance, and retribution, and embrace the boundless potential of cooperation, compromise, and the common good.
To be clear, Trump was under pressure to take that kind of tack, as for the first time in office, he's facing an emboldened opposition on Capitol Hill. But still, it was a remarkable approach for a president whose brand has been to promote the opposite of that. He even gave a shout out to all the freshly elected women in the U.S. Congress, most of them Democrats, who, in another remarkable moment, stood and applauded Trump.
Don't sit yet. You're going to like this. We also have more women serving in Congress than at any time before.
Still, it all came with a caveat of a kind. Trump suggesting the U.S. is thriving economically and will continue to if the divided political sides can unite.
An economic miracle is taking place in the United States, and the only thing that can stop it are foolish wars, politics, or ridiculous partisan investigations. If there is going to be peace and legislation, there cannot be war and investigation. It just doesn't work that way.
And indeed, all of this must be framed by the reminder this country is now on a path to the 2020 presidential election, as Democrats now threaten to investigate myriad aspects of the Trump presidency. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Well, we'll use my optics lesson one more time in our photo today, for the weather photo of the day. These are sundogs.
Sundogs and ice pillars.
That's right.
I love that.
Yeah, taken obviously somewhere in Labrador. Any idea where?
Churchill Falls? No.
Lab City.
Ah, you got it. I'll tell you who took this wonderful shot when we come back. Welcome back, and we will take a look at our weather photo of the day there. Nice shot of some sundogs. You guessed it, Western Lab.
Yeah, a certain person who speaks to me secretly
in your ear.
Yes, Rod Dobbin knows the big land. He gave me some help.
He's a Wabush boy.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what is this?
Same thing as what we were talking about, the light pillars. It's the halo.
It's like doing a degree on this show tonight.
Well,
Sundogs?
my physics degree. I get to use
so how
my
does this
physics
work?
degree.
So it's an
Same
optical
thing.
illusion.
It's an optical illusion, yeah.
It's not really there.
So how come sometimes you get sundogs and sometimes you get sun pillars?
It depends on, well, this would be during the daylight, and then the light pillars would be at night.
Very interesting. Beautiful picture, Darren. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sending those in. NLphotos at cbc.ca if you have any you'd like to share with us.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, just want to say a quick happy anniversary to my parents. 37 years this year.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you two.
See you all tomorrow.
Good night.